Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GGW podcast. We took a little bit of a hiatus this week just because we've been busy, lads, but we are back and so much has happened since the live watch along. I'm here with Coach Ari. Ari, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Happy to be here. Happy to be here. So in this podcast, and don't get used to this. This is hopefully a one-time thing, but we are going to talk about post-Sheffield, post-West Ham United, and then pre-Newcastle. So you're in for a lot of content when we're not around. We'll make sure to make it up to our fans, and this is going to be an action-packed episode. The only problem is you only get two of us tonight, so sorry about that.
We're
missing the boys. But let's talk about the positives first. Let's talk about the 5-0 thrashing at Sheffield United. You boys did a live watch along, which was deemed mostly successful. So how did
debatably
successful?
Just because we had that challenge and we didn't get to participate in the challenge at all because we thrashed them so badly. But I mean, I guess that's a good thing. So
that is a very good thing. I feel like you guys weren't drunk off your ass, which is what I was expecting to come back to. But no, you guys were quite sober. Which it makes for, I guess, bad content on the YouTube, but also it just means that we put in a good shift over the weekend.
Yeah,
I guess the only big talking point was the Eddie hat trick that happened over the weekend, which was then overshadowed by his piss poor performance at West Ham, which we will talk about here in a second. But let's talk about that hat trick real quick. What did you think about that hat trick? I will say that third goal was stunning.
It was a great strike. It was a brilliant strike, and like we've said, it's so funny because Eddie only performs whenever he's the only striker available. So Jesus is out for a couple of weeks with another knee injury, hopefully for not too long, but he's nursing that. So Eddie stepped up and he stepped up in a big way, and we really needed that for the 3 points, and also just for our confidence after our poor result from the following Chelsea match. So I think it was really good. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it was a fantastic hat trick. I think we touched about this maybe on the watch along, you guys, I should say, and then I think I typed it in the group chat. Was I think that was his first goal outside of the box for Arsenal, which is pretty huge for him. Yeah. Kind of upsetting it took him this long to get to there, but you know what? You're a striker. It's fine. You're supposed to be.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I will say it was good to see him get that hat trick. It definitely looked like he was very hungry. We didn't see the phone call celebration. We kind of saw him more cocky, like he did one of these celebrations, and I was like,
that was cold.
I know. He said he grabbed the badge and then went.
He's like, I'm here. He was like, I'm here.
Okay, all right, talk your shit, King. Just back it up against West Ham during the week, and anyway, no, the third goal. I mean, that's a screamer. No keeper saving that. It was beautiful. I don't know. That's like textbook. That should be what he should be doing week in, week out.
Like on a weekly basis. I agree, for sure.
But no, I think it was good for his confidence. Hopefully. I keep alluding to West Ham. Hopefully that won't shake him up too bad, because we need him for the next foreseeable future, probably until December. So
how do you feel about him as our number 2 going forward? Do you think that he's a player that we should put our faith and trust in going into the future?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to back the boys. We always talk about this on this podcast, but I will say it's getting to a point now where it's just so hard to justify a new contract with him. Because, yes, he turns up when we need him. Like, the Man United goal, like, where he just kind of flicked it in, right? If he wasn't on the pitch, we might not have gotten 3 points from that game. You never know.
Yeah.
But it's just, we need consistency in this club. Especially if we're going to be challenging for UCLs, Prems. We need consistency. And unfortunately, he's just not to the consistent level as most of the people in the squad.
Do you think he's capable of getting there?
I don't know. I want to say yes, because Arteta rates him so highly. I think if Arteta was not in, I think he would have been gone 2 seasons ago. But I don't know. I think he's always gonna be the number 2, though.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna be the first name on the team sheet. We always talk about that on the podcast. Who's gonna be the first name? Who's gonna fight for that first name on the team sheet? It's not gonna be him. It hasn't since in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to say yes. There's don't get me wrong, a lot of redeeming qualities. We saw him at Leeds a couple seasons ago. Smash it. A lot of redeeming qualities. Is it Arsenal level? I don't know. How about you? How about you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I very much so worry about his quality in terms of us reaching the next level and competing at the highest level. And like, it's hard to say because we don't see what he's like in training, and we don't see how much efforts he's putting in. But like Arteta, really, like you said, really rates him. He always puts his 100% effort into training. He's always looking to get better. I saw a post saying that he reached out to Darren Bent before the season and was just asking for tips and just general like knowledge about like positioning and like how to become better. So I think he does that. He does have that hunger and drive to be a really, really great player. I just don't know if he has the potential or the ceiling to reach it.
Right.
So it's always difficult to say because he is very young still. He's only 24. He just got his first England cap. So I mean,
it's a sticky one.
Yeah, and it's hard because, like you said, he'll always be the number 2. So it's not like he has that game time to really develop his and refine his qualities. But he does have some very redeeming qualities where he's very good in the build up. He's very good at connecting play, and he's not bad at holding it up. I mean, he could be better, but he's not bad at holding play. And he's just like he has a really good close tight dribble, so he gets those good. He receives the ball in the box and gets like a cheeky turn and finds a finish. So he has it in him. It's hard to say if, like you said, he'll be consistent. We do need that 20-25 goal scorer striker in the squad. So I'm not sure it's him. I think.
And it's sad because we'll touch on this next person in a little bit, but we want the Hale End academies to succeed, right? We want them to stay at Arsenal and make names for themselves. And so far, like we've been doing a really good job of that. But and you know what? Maybe it's because Bukayo Saka is world class. Maybe we're using him as the standard, and we shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Maybe he's like a diamond in the rough, but
we should be using that
right, 100%. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like maybe
the levels we want to reach.
Right. Yeah. Like if Saka is putting up these same numbers, would we be having the same conversation about him? Stuff like that. But I think if he does move on from Arsenal, this is what I'll say. If he does move on from Arsenal and he goes out of the Prem, I think he should. I think he should branch out into Europe. Maybe go to a Juventus or a Milan, or I think he'll be really successful. I don't know if the Premier League's his speed.
But maybe he improves on his game when he leaves and finds something else, and then comes back to us when he's ripe and ready. But at the moment, he's just not. He's not at the level that we need to be competing for every single title and for every single trophy. So
for sure. Before we kind of segue into why we're talking about this, let's talk about the two other goals that happened during Sheffield. So Fabio Vieira pen, which was very well taken by Fabio Vieira. Congrats to him and his missus for announcing their pregnancy, I guess, throughout that goal. Is that what they did? I guess. I don't know. That was strange. Sort of. And then Tomiyasu getting his first goal for the Arsenal this weekend. First. That's incredible. I'm very happy for him. You see how loved he is at this club, though. It's so nice. It's so nice.
So heartwarming. Like his big smile, just like after he's like celebrating, like
Well, and he's like the epitome of like the Japanese footballer, because he scores it, and like I'm not gonna lie, if I'm playing for the Arsenal and I score my first goal, I'm top's coming off. I'm running down the thing, right? He just smiling, did a little fist bump, and was like, and then everyone was like, "No, celebrate, go!" Like I think Eddie pushed him forward, like, "No, go," and he was just clapping, like super humble, which is cool to see. But huge for him. We're happy for him. We're happy for Fabio Vieira as well. And yeah, so let's kind of shift into West Ham, I
Yeah.
guess, a little bit.
Well, before we shift into that,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I, I I praised him in the group chat, but that ball from Declan for the first goal
Oh
was
my
filthy.
God,
Uh,
filthy. Oh,
uh,
it's so filthy.
I'd love to see it. Oh my god! And I mean, the touch from Eddie was class. Like
Incredible.
it was so good. But that ball from Rice, he's just proving every week why he's worth 100 mil. Like it's so beautiful to see, and you love to see that because like there's so many clubs in the league right now that are struggling with their signings.
Yes,
I've been
yes.
watching a lot of like TikTok reels and stuff, and they're talking about how United is struggling with all of their new signings, like Mason Mount, like Anthony hasn't really been um, being being as or what's the word I'm looking
Like
for?
clinical, maybe,
Yeah,
or
he's not really showing up for the price tag that they
he's
paid for
got
him.
yeah, he's got more domestic charges than he does goals. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, like them, and then obviously Chelsea. They've spent at least 1 billion, and none of their players have been working out for them. So I mean, that's mostly through injury, but
right, right.
it's nice to see that that the money that we paid is getting
Is
put to good
yeah,
use.
paying off
Yeah, paying
100%.
its dividends. So.
Um, real quick, touching in on the Anthony thing, real quick. Did you see the kick out he had against Doku over the
Oh
weekend?
no,
Oh
no.
my God, that man is guilty. That man is so guilty of whatever crimes he's being committed of or charged of because that kick out was insane.
It was vicious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doku sauced him on that little the thing I said 2 weeks ago, the little triple step
Yeah,
over and then
yeah.
touch. And Anthony was nowhere, and he just swung like he just full on took out his
Oh
ankle,
my
and
god.
Doku went up to him and shushed him, and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I loved it. So that man's guilty. I refuse to believe anything else. Um, but let's talk about West Ham.
Yeah.
So that's the more recent game. At the time of recording, that was yesterday. So we had to talk about it, unfortunately. Let's talk about the breaking news that came from the game, and that is Smith Rowe with another injury. It's kind of, you kind of felt. I don't know if you felt it. The vibe just shifted as soon as I said that. Like,
Yeah.
it's very sad to hear. We kind of spoke about it today. I'll let you speak your piece on it.
Yeah, it's really disheartening because you know he had such good form when it was 2 seasons ago, right? Yeah, he just
Yeah.
had such good form, and we were flying high with our Halion boys, and then he picks up that injury. Well, I mean, he was nursing the injury for a long time, but he finally got surgery on the injury and has to make a recovery. And since then, he just has been struggling to get back into the first team. It's really sad to see because he was doing so well. He was bagging so
So
many
well.
goals for us,
Yeah.
and uh,
And like world class goals too. Like
yeah,
goals that like midfielders should not be scoring.
yeah,
Like
and in big games as well. Like it
yeah.
wasn't even like against like the lower end teams. Like he was bagging goals against like United, Spurs, like all the big clubs. Like he was contributing. So um, yeah, it's just really sad to see because he's so beloved by our fans
So
and
beloved.
everyone at the club. So I think sadly we'll have to see him move on just because. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because he is still so young, but we need players who can contribute now. And sadly, excuse me, sadly,
Bless you.
him and Thomas Party, I think, are looking to find their way out or are looking
That was gonna be
towards the exit.
my second follow up was about Party, but going back to
But
Smith Rowe. So you're kind of on the train of you think his time at the Arsenal is coming to a close.
I think so, just because. I mean, just because I think his development was so delayed and so stalled by this injury that it's hard for him to come back.
Yeah.
I don't see how he doesn't get phased out.
Well,
So
he missed most of last season, didn't he?
yeah, he missed like
Yeah.
the entire season last year. So
Well, that's tough. I mean,
yeah, I feel like it's another like Jack Wilshere type of situation.
yeah, which seems to be the norm here at Arsenal. I don't know what it sucks. I mean, I'm sure other clubs have their star boys that also get injured as well, but it just seems like Arsenal's always, they're on the cusp of that like next great, we'll compare them to the Wayne Rooney's, the Gary Linekers, stuff like that. We're on the cusp of developing them, and then some huge injury happens, which is really upsetting. I mentioned Partey. Partey is out for, I think they said 4 to 6 weeks with another muscle injury. I mean, I'm a little less sad to see him go because now that we have Declan sliding in, and we got Havertz, the greatest footballer to ever grace the pitch, also on our side. So I'm not like as sad to see him go, but I mean, is it going to affect us? 1,000%, because whenever he's on the pitch, it's class. I mean,
yeah, he oozes class. Like it's just he changes the state of the game just by coming onto the pitch. His presence and his leadership and just his knowledge of the game, and it's hard to come by. But
yeah, and that could lead to the argument of maybe we should have kept Xhaka. We see that on Twitter. I think personally, we're not going to get too into it, but I think personally we made the right decision moving on from him, just because I think we were starting to see him kind of not in his game, but as we get to a certain age, parts of the game has to be adapted in certain in different qualities that maybe he won't have. Like you see in Bundesliga, he's a lot more attacking, which is great, but I just don't think for Arsenal we necessarily need that. And I think a lot of fans are being reactionary, seeing how, and like kudos to him. I think you and I both criticized him quite fairly. So I think, he deserves his flowers, but on the flip side, I'm not super upset that we moved on from him. He's a great servant, and he's killing it in Germany, so good for him.
Yeah, it's just interesting to say, like, or to see, like, we move on from him, but then we have the likes of Jorginho and like
right.
In terms of like their ability and their physicality for this league, because it's a very fast paced, very physical game,
right,
in English football. So I think I do think Xhaka fits that mold. It's just I think he wanted to have new experience and
yeah, for sure.
leave. I think it was the right time because he left with a good taste in his mouth. Like we were so close to coming to a title. Unfortunately, we couldn't get there. But I think it's still a season to look back on and remember and be proud of and enjoy.
And he was a big part of it.
Yeah, because he was such a massive part of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we can move on from Jorginho as well, just in terms of the physicality and the aging out. I do think he's a good player in terms of what he provides to the team, leadership wise, and just as an experienced older player, just his knowledge that he gives to the boys. But
yeah,
gameplay wise,
again, Jorginho is a sticky one for me. I mean, because he's probably our best Chelsea reject.
yeah, for sure.
He has stepped into that Partey role almost flawlessly. We have that one mistake that Spurs capitalized on, little hiccups, but when someone who is newer to the squad and someone who is, again, older, that's going to happen. But I think I saw a lot of people hating on him for the West Ham game. I thought he did actually quite decent. I think he was a little unfortunate to be subbed off for Declan Rice. I think it did need to happen because we saw he was starting to get a little tired. But I don't think any of that was really his fault. It was any Jorginho's fault. I think we had a lot of hiccups in the back, which is something we're not quite used to. Shades of the old Arsenal coming out. But, it's tough because in the Carabao Cup, you have... when a big team beats a little team, the little team goes, oh, it's just the Carabao Cup, right? But then when the little team beats the big team, oh my God, Arsenal are out for this major trophy that they could have won. You can't, you got to pick and choose. Is it a stupid trophy? Is it a trophy that means nothing? Because if we would have won that trophy, we'd have had...
everyone would have said it means nothing.
Yeah, right. So then why is it a big deal if it means nothing that we're out? You know what I mean? Like, so all these media outlets, like, I don't know if you saw ESPN's title was Gunners got hammered or whatever. Like, it's cringe. Like, pick one. I mean,
it's a title. You know, it draws attention. You know,
right.
It draws the views and the clicks, so they have to make it outrageous. But
right. I mean,
like you said, every one of our rival fans would be like, "Oh, Banter Trophy doesn't mean anything." Like,
yeah. They said it about the Shield. They said it about the Community Shield when we beat the best team in the world.
They said it about the FA Cups even.
Yeah, facts. Oh my goodness. And they probably would have said it about Europa League as well. But anyway, we move on. I mean, let's talk about the goals real quick. The Ben White own goal. I personally think it shouldn't have stood. I think there was a blatant foul on Ramsdale. We've seen it called. I don't know. I think that was harsh. Because I do think Ramsdale gets to that if he isn't brought down by Souček. Any thoughts on the own goal?
I don't know. I think Ben just has to do better with that. I mean, he's got no pressure on him. No, there was no men on him, so he just hits it, or like there's just a miscue and he hits it in the back of the net. I mean, it's just unlucky. I don't think it speaks too much on our defense. I don't think it speaks too much on
no, it definitely
White or Ramsdale. It's just it's an accident. It happens, you know.
It definitely
Mistakes are made.
It was definitely one of those things where we said in the group chat, like, that was just unlucky. It happens. And that's kind of like how we were saying about the whole night, was that it was just unlucky. Nothing seemed to go our way. I remember like towards the end, the ball was going out for a corner and it backspun and hit the flag and went out for a throw in, and we were like, are you kidding me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just was that
just
night.
Like, you couldn't get anything. It's like FIFA. Like, you either get everything or you get nothing.
Then we have the second goal, which was that that was the phenomenal ball into
that was the
Kudos,
phenomenal
right?
ball from Aguirre to Kudus. Disgusting touch.
Disgusting technique, good finish. You made the argument that Ramsdale could have done better there, so I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't remember who it was. Let me find out real quick. We had a defender like near post, so I think he could have done better positioning wise. Just, you know, a little bit more centered, maybe to the right a little bit more. Just covering his far post. I think Raya maybe saves that. I mean, it's hard to say. You never know. But I think Raya maybe does better with that. That's the only goal I feel like he deserves like criticism on, maybe, because the first one is really just unlucky, and the third just takes a massive deflection.
Again, another deflection.
Again, you could argue he could have done better with a deflection, but it's whipped in at like 1,000 miles an hour, and it takes a wicked deflection. It's just hard. So I think that's the only goal that truly could receive any criticism, because the other two were just very, very harsh on him. Yeah, those are my thoughts on it. What about you?
I mean, I think we saw in the beginning, we saw the Ramsdale that we all knew and loved. You know, we saw him get pressed, and he was picking balls left, right, center. Beautiful distribution, not hesitating under pressure, which is so common. Which is such a common criticism we have of Raya. Second half happened, and there seemed to be a little bit of a hesitancy, in my opinion, on Ramsdale's positioning, especially for that second goal. I mean, I think he was a little too far off the line. Like you said, we had a defender kind of near post. I don't know. Like I said, it could have been doing better. You either need to come. It looked like he started to come out and stopped, and then continued again. Which you either need to go all out or you need to come back. You know, just hold your line. I'm really. Oh, and then the deflection. I don't know. We play in really shit levels of Sunday footy, and deflections happen all the time, and they are so hard to read. So when you're playing professional, and that, like you said, that ball is drilled at 80, 90, 100 miles per hour towards you, and it just dips last minute, and your arm's up here, and you have to adjust it down here. That is so difficult. Yeah. So I don't give him any criticism on that. I just think it's a shame, because I think this buries him. I
Yeah,
think,
sadly, I agree.
yeah, I think he's done. I think he's gonna leave in January now. I don't think he's gonna get any more playing time. This was his cup, apparently. Apparently, he was gonna get. You know what I mean? Like, here's your
Uh,
play time. Go get it. You know what I mean? And then we're out. So is he gonna
uh,
play in the FA Cup? Who knows? Um, I don't know. I just think, unfortunately, that the scoreline doesn't flatter him, even though it wasn't really his fault. I think it was
yeah.
just, an unlucky night. I don't even want to say it was that bad. I think it was just one of those nights,
Yeah.
rainy night in
Uh,
West London.
there's some points to be made about Zinchenko and his defending. A lot of people I saw were commenting on that. I do think it is a little bit of a liability. As much as I love his ability to play balls forward and to find those lines, I do think um, he is a little bit of a liability defensively. And we saw with the Kudus goal, he didn't really get tight enough to him, and
Yeah,
he finishes that past Zini. So it's hard.
it's tough though, because like, if we're gonna criticize like the system that Zinchenko plays in,
Yeah.
works in the offensive mind, right? In the
Yeah.
attacking mind,
Yeah.
but it's weaker on the defensive side. And I think that system only really works because of Saliba. Because Saliba
Yeah.
is so rapid, so strong, so calm. When he's not in that back line, I think Kivior actually had a pretty good night. I think the person we should be pointing fingers at is actually Gabriel for last night.
Uh,
I think Kivior did pretty well, but I don't think he settles well in that system. I think
or even Arteta. I mean, maybe he should
yeah,
have played. He should have played another starter, or even Saliba. But
100%. The thing that I just was griping about, and I don't know if I sent it in the group chat. I know I typed it and then deleted it because I don't want to seem like I don't want to seem like I'm sucking Odegaard's dick here, right? But that was a game without Odegaard.
yeah,
That's what half of our fan base wants is Odegaard gone, and that's what it looked like without Odegaard. You can make the argument about Sheffield that he didn't play, but comparatively, Sheffield is a much, and no disrespect, but a much weaker side than West Ham. West Ham can arguably be the team that replaces Man United in the Big Six. Like, they're incredible, and to not play Odegaard, to have him rest, to then have him come on, and then have him score, that should silence a lot of the trolls and haters on Twitter. It's not going to. And guess what? I'm going to keep preaching this because I did the same thing when Ozil was around. It was the same thing that kept happening to Ozil. Someone compared Kai Havertz to Ozil's later years, and I almost cried. I almost threw my phone because I was like, there's no way you're comparing Mesut Ozil to Kai Havertz right now. But I just think Odegaard really changed the game when he came on, and unfortunately it was too little too late.
yeah.
Same with not Declan. Who else did he put on? Bukayo. I think he was a positive light.
Sadly, I don't have too much to speak on the second half because I work with that, so I passed the fuck out. I was watching the game in bed. I was like, I got to the half and then I knocked out. So I was not conscious for the second half, and I'm glad I wasn't because
No, you didn't want to be. It was actually it was really funny because we had I was watching it on my iPad and my dad had the Liverpool game on the big screen. I told him he could have the Liverpool on the TV, and I'm not gonna lie. I was paying more attention to the Liverpool game than I was the Arsenal game, just because that was more exciting. Like, I remember just looking down, going 2-0, and then 5 minutes later going 3-0, and then my mom was like, "Nah, like you're lying," and I was like, "Dead ass." But no, let's talk about Declan Rice, because I'll tell you what, my heart goes out to him.
yeah,
The fact that West Ham fans, now we knew it was going to be, a little. You might get some, right? That whole stadium was like booing him.
yeah,
And my message to West Ham fans are, how ungrateful can you be? He didn't leave with any controversy. He was a top-class professional. He led you to European trophy, something Arsenal doesn't even have. and this is how you treat him.
It's shameful, honestly.
That is your club legend. Is Declan Rice? I can't think of any other huge West Ham name other than Declan Rice. Ian Wright, but where did he go? You know what I mean? Like, or was that Crystal Palace? I don't know. I think he did have a stint there. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I
can't remember. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it is really shameful. Like, he was such a big player for them, and like you said, he left amicably, and he left to further his career. I mean, it happens. It's football. Like, you can't get upset that he leaves and has aspirations to win everything, and he wants to go to a bigger club. So that's like, it's fair to him. It's only fair to him, especially after how long he served for them. And
yeah,
it's just I think there's just a little they're just salty. They're upset that they lost their best player. And I mean, I don't know. Like, do you think you'd do the same thing?
Hell no.
No? Yeah.
Hell no. I don't even think we booed Sanchez that bad.
Yeah.
Like, there was boos for Sanchez. I was one of them. but it was not the whole stadium. It was definitely a mixed reception.
I mean, like, but like, what about like Cess and like Van Persie? Like they left our clubs, and there's a lot of hate around them.
But they went to rivals.
Yeah, that's fair. True.
You can't. West Ham and Arsenal are not rivals because we're in different classes.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yes, you won a European trophy. You won a European trophy that's the third tier. We're competing in the first tier. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, like, as much as I'm giving you props, as much as I'm giving you kudos, no pun intended, that you have the European trophy, it's still the third tier European trophy. Even if we won the Europa League trophy, it's still better than you. So why do you have the confidence of a PSG? Why do you have the confidence of Man City when you are quite literally a small club compared to them? You know, and maybe I'm just being defensive of our player. I don't know, but Van Persie, Cesc, I would say, because they went to rivals. They went to Chelsea. They went to.
That's fair.
Especially when Fabregas went to Barca, it was Barca Arsenal for a period there from like 03 to like 08. That was like, Van Persie going to United. Some would argue, like myself, that's bigger than Tottenham versus Arsenal. Like, I don't know. I didn't boo Mavropanos. He was on the pitch for West Ham. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good to see other players try to further their careers, in my opinion. That makes me proud, you know? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we've been blessed where we didn't lose a lot of players to other Premier League sides in our lifetime, other than like Van Persie, Sanchez, Cesc.
I mean, we had a couple. We lost Willick.
Willick was cheered.
Yeah, we lost Ox to Liverpool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Wobie.
That was a big loss. Again, cheer to Wobie. We cheered Wobie. We cheered. I don't know if we cheered. I think we cheered Walcott at first until he scored.
Yeah.
Then he might have been booed. But no, Joe Willock, great reception at the Emirates. Sure. Even when he scored, I actually do remember that when Willock scored at the Emirates against us, we were all like, you know what I mean? Good for him. Yeah. I don't know. It's just shameful. Let's just move on. Yeah. So let's move on to and Odegaard scored. Don't know if it tells you that, but I just commiseration. Not commiseration. What do we call that? Trophy goal. No. Oh my god.
Consolation.
Consolation. Thank you. Yeah. Consolation goal in the 96th minute. It was a good goal.
It was a good goal.
Let's just move on. Shout out my boy. All right. Let's talk about Newcastle. This is a tough game.
Big game. Very tough game.
Very big game. Now, coming into it, they have no Tonali. I think we said in the beginning that was our greatest fear was Tonali because he was balling out for him.
He was balling. And Isak is injured, so that's also pretty big because he had a really good start to the season. But Callum Wilson was also doing really well. So,
and that's another player that we need to hand the flowers out to is Callum Wilson. You know, I think he's been the epitome of an English through and through player playing for Sunderland, then playing for Bournemouth, and then coming to I think it was Bournemouth, and then coming to Newcastle. I could be wrong on the Bournemouth. I don't know. But again,
Yeah, he was at Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. Okay, yeah. Wow, my ball knowledge is incredible.
Wow.
But no, it's gonna be a tough. It's gonna be a tough one. Nick Pope also in form, which is scary. A scary in form Nick Pope is tough to beat. So how are your feelings going into this weekend?
I think Newcastle is just a very, very solid team defensively. Just with their size, and just the players they have in the back. I mean, Shar and oh wait, they also are missing. Are they missing their other center back?
They're missing Botman, aren't they?
Yeah, aren't they missing Botman?
So potentially. That one I don't know off the top of my head. But.
Yeah, I think they're missing Botman as well. So that's pretty big. Actually, that's I didn't even think about that. That's a pretty big boost for us as well. So I think Saka will be able to burn Dan Burn.
Nice.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to burn Dan Burn down the line. I think he'll be able to cook him. So I think that'll be a good matchup for us. It's just they have such size with their center backs, and even Bruno Guimaraes. Like they're all pretty sizable players. So I don't think we'll do well aerially. I don't think we'll try to attack aerially. Hopefully, it'll be very controlled and on the grass. We keep the ball on the grass. But then I think they also have some threats on the break as well. I think that's where they're most dangerous on the counterattack offensively.
Yeah,
Anthony Gordon's very pacey. Almiron's very fast. So I think that's what we'll have to look out for on the offensive side. But like I said, they're a very physical team. They play very, very physical ball. So I think that's something that our boys will have to be prepared for, and that's my biggest worry. What about you?
Yeah, no, I mean, just kind of echoing kind of what you said. A very physical game. I think that's always the key. Are we at the Emirates or are we at St. James?
St. James.
So that's gonna play a huge factor because that Toon Army is crazy. Like that is the closest I think we're gonna see to having ultras in English football is Newcastle's fans. But that's going to be difficult. But I think an early goal should kind of settle. It's easier said than done, especially in this season from us. You know, we haven't really been scoring too fast off the rip. But I think the boys just come up. They shake this West Ham loss off. I mean, like I said, it was just a very big mix of just unlucky with West Ham. They shouldn't take that personally. They should just move on, do the business. I think we do get a result. I think we do get 3 points. I'm equally as scared of them as I was Chelsea, and I was pretty confident with Chelsea, so I'm still going to be pretty confident against Newcastle.
I'm not sure if we get a result. I think I guess I don't know with the form that they're in, and they haven't really been
right.
They haven't really been performing domestically. So
well, I was just about to say they kind of have like a mixed bag right now. Like you know what I mean? Like they're winning in Europe. Beating PSG is insane. I believe it because PSG is ass. But beating PSG in Europe and then turning around and then losing to I think it was Crystal Palace or tying to Crystal Palace or something like that. That kind of shows where English football is, and I think with Tonali, with Isaac, with Botman, I think this conversation would be a lot different.
I agree.
Because especially Tonali, I rated him super heavily as a player. I remember watching the first game. I think it was against Liverpool. That was the first game of the season. And even though Liverpool squeaked out a result, that Tonali performance was insane. And I was like, we're done. Like this is it. Newcastle's running away with it this year. But like you said, mixed bag domestically, picking up the loss here, the draw here, not winning out.
They started really, really slow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think Almiron has been a little bit quiet compared to how he was last year.
Yeah,
Maybe still kind of harboring that injury he sustained at the end of the last season, but I don't know, man. Teams like to show up against Arsenal. Always.
yeah.
They always do.
I just always think anytime we go away, like I really for the longest time underestimated how difficult it is to play away. But like when you have the whole crowd like chanting and giving the other team energy, like it really is the 12th man. Like I genuinely underestimated how much of a difference playing away makes on teams.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. It could be a very difficult game depending on whether or not the Newcastle boys show up if they're in their best form or if they're off the park or if we play them off the park and they're not playing well that day. So I think it really depends on how they're doing on the day because like the more and more I mean our waveform is excellent. Don't get me wrong, but the more and more that I watch footy, I get more worried about away
Yeah.
games.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I think that was made apparent at the Lons game. I
yeah,
mean, who the fuck is Lons? No offense, but like,
yeah,
and then they come out and they work us. They don't only beat us, they work us. And
yeah.
like that atmosphere was insane. Like insane. Yeah, man. St. James is not a place to
I take lightly.
take lightly.
Yeah.
Like you said, our away form has been incredible. Part of me is relieved that we did not break the record. Or let me put this. Yeah, let me reword this. That we lost the record at West Ham. I think if we were talking every time they talk about, oh, Arsenal's gonna beat this record, we lose it. That's the game we lose every time.
What record did we miss
We
out?
were going to be the first team, I don't know ever, but I think in the Premier League era, to win 6 of 6 away games.
Oh,
And that was just something like domestically, not
yeah, yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
Europe, not in Europe, but
Uh-huh.
West Ham would have been the 6th, and we lost
Oh,
that. So, but
did not know that.
whenever they do these niche records, we always lose that game. Like
Uh,
we started talking about Odegaard's record, he didn't score. We started talking about Martinelli's record, he didn't score. You know what I mean?
uh,
Özil's record-breaking assist season, he didn't get that one last assist. That's
I think
Giroud's fault.
I think there's a Saka record as well that may have not been broken. I don't know if it was for last game um or for this upcoming game.
Was it the appearances?
I think it was contributions. I think it was
Oh,
consecutive games that they made contributions because he was gonna be the first player since Ian Wright, I think, to have like X number of consecutive goal contributions
yeah.
in a set number of games. So,
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't think did he assist against Chelsea?
who?
Saka.
Yes. He
Yeah,
assisted
yeah, yeah.
Trossard. Yeah.
Oh, true, true. So he might have broken it. I think maybe.
Well, maybe.
I'm not sure.
Shout out our star boy, breaking
True.
yet another record. Um, but yeah, all right, let's go with our predicted 11 and score predictions, and then we will get out of your hair, Gooners. We've been talking a lot today. Like I said, it's probably going to be an action-packed episode. So what is your predicted 11 and your score predictions?
Just because of I want to put Tomiyasu in, just because he's been playing so well, and also, uh, he does have the ability to play that inverted role. Maybe not to the likes of Zinchenko offensively, but um, just like we said, how vulnerable Zinni leaves us in the back has me worried. So I'd like to see Tomiyasu. We'll probably see Raya in goal. Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White. Uh, does I was gonna say no. I think we'll go. We'll probably see double pivot of Jorginho, Rice, Odegaard, and then up top will be Martinelli, Eddie, and Saka. I was thinking about playing. Not that I have the choice, but I was thinking about
Football
whether or not
manager.
we were gonna play, whether or not we were gonna have Havertz in over Jorginho. But I think Arteta likes Jorginho at the 6 with Declan as the 8. So
Yeah.
uh, I think that'll be our strongest lineup. I think that's what I'd like to see against Newcastle, just because they're a very difficult side to play against. What do you think?
Let's see. Ryan goal. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
Ryan goal. I'm gonna go same back line as you. Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, White. Um, Man, this would have been a game that Party would have thrived in too.
The physicality would have been
Yeah.
big. Yeah.
Um, I think we're gonna see Declan go into that 6 role.
Uh,
I think Odegaard and Havertz is gonna be the midfield pivot.
I'm thinking for physicality, it's going to be
Just,
Havertz
just
as well.
yeah, just because even though Havertz infuriates us, he does have that 6'2" advantage.
Yeah,
Um,
the larger frame.
and believe it or not, like I said, it was one of his better performances in an Arsenal shirt. He did make a couple good key interceptions against West Ham. I think that's something that we might need to close down the park, but I don't know. I think he's just gonna get the nod. I feel like he has to play because the only conclusion that I can come to is because he's on such a high wage. That's the only conclusion that I can see why we're, playing him.
Uh,
But and then I'm gonna go. I want to put Trossard in there too, but he's just so impactful off the bench.
yeah, like we saw him again start, and like he wasn't very, very lively or very impactful against West Ham.
Yeah,
So
I'm just gonna stay tried and true, Martinelli, Nketiah, and Saka, front 3, and then my score prediction. It's tough.
yeah,
Because, part of me is like, oh, we're not in good goal scoring form, but we are. Just one game. I'm going to go with a 2-1. I think it's going to be a comeback. I think Newcastle's going to go up early. I think with the form Callum Wilson's been in, the form Anthony Gordon's been in, I think I would give it to Callum Wilson.
yeah.
And then our two goals. I think Saka bags. I think it's been too long since we've seen a Saka goal. So the one thing we could tell about our star boy is he's always hungry. So I know he's gonna be trying to drive that left foot to a nice clean strike and get that goal. So I think Saka's gonna get one.
And his matchup is very good against Denver. So hopefully,
right.
Yeah. So.
And I think he did bag last year against Newcastle as well, if I remember correctly. My ball knowledge might not be that great, but then you know what? I'm gonna say Rice.
Yeah.
Just because I think he's gonna be a little emotional. I think there's gonna be a few mistakes in the beginning from Declan, just because I think he might be in his head a little bit. Because I mean, it's gotta be if he has the mental fortitude of a fucking soldier, then maybe he's good. But I think him being booed at West Ham is going to affect him a little bit. But then Arteta's going to reel him in and a screamer. That's what's going to happen. Screamer. Yeah. Outside the box, like Party against Spurs, just curling it in top right. That's going to be my prediction. How about you?
I think Trippier is like a lot older now, so he's slowed down a bit as well. So I think Martinelli could abuse him as well. So, I want to go with a 2-1, and I will say Callum will score for them as well. I think he's their most dangerous attacking player. And then I want to say Martinelli and Trossard coming off the bench.
Oh, okay. So you think Trossard bags?
Yeah.
I'd like to see him bag.
I
rate Trossard so highly.
He's a good player.
He's so good.
So underrated.
Scout Ari calling him up, said, listen, come to the Arsenal. We know you're struggling at Brighton. We need you at the carpet. Name your price. Click. That was the exact conversation. For those who don't know that story, Ari said at the beginning of the season, yo, this Trossard guy is a baller. We need him. And then 6 months, and then in the January transfer, we picked him up, and he was freaking out
I was losing it. I was
chat.
so happy. I was like, this guy's so good. I can't wait for him to ball for us. And
Matoma
he's been
next.
balling ever since.
Matoma next.
Matoma next? Oh yeah, true. I'll take him for sure.
Hell yeah.
Actually, no. I don't know. We need a right winger. Can he play on the right? Probably not.
I feel like he can play anywhere.
Yeah, he could probably play.
That man is so versatile.
Yeah.
But no, Man City are looking at him because Man City could buy anybody.
True. I mean, who doesn't want to go play for Pep?
Me, I want to play for Arteta. Bias. Yeah. I mean, we'll save Matchday Mayhem for when the lads are here.
Yeah.
And again, we're putting what are we wearing on the shelf for now, just because we have some content planned around that. But anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Just a really big weekend. Because Spurs play Chelsea as well, so we could be looking to go top of the table if Chelsea put in the performance they did against us, against Spurs. We'll see. Probably not, though.
I was say probably not.
But let's hope Chelsea can do us a favor. Other than that,
Mikhailo Mudryk, if you bag and you win, you will redeem yourself to all Arsenal fans.
Oh, true.
So,
true, very true.
Just so you know. Real quick before we sign off, are you doing No Shave November? Are you doing Movember? Are you participating?
I can't grow facial. Well, I don't really grow that much facial hair.
I feel like you do. Got a little.
I got a little bit, yeah, but
I clean shaved for Movember quite literally yesterday, and this is already how we're at. So, oh well. But all right, Movember. It's important. Check men's mental health and all that fun stuff. We love that. We love that. But all right. With that being said, as always, come on, you Gooners.
Come on, you Gooners.
It's so good to be an Arsenal fan.
Oh, I love it, man.